Welcome to the Soccer A to Z, the AZ. No tubes today, guys. No tubes.
How come?
He got sacked for stealing.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't. But we've got an I can't reveal. Well, I'll tell you, it's an exclusive. That's all I can say.
Who's our guest today?
Our guest?
Vernon Kay. Oh, come on, you white men.
My W, I think, is going to win this week. It's very strong.
I think maybe the crown might be coming to me if Helen's fair with the judging.
Okay. Well, we'll see. That's all coming up on today's show.
Yes.
Oh, what we're going to talk about to begin with. We're going to need a bit of a cold opening, don't we?
Can we do Tubes' baby, or is it embargoed? Is there an embargo on the birth?
Well, do you know what? He's given us the exclusive.
Has he?
Yeah. So
name?
We can talk.
Her name? Or
No, just that we're allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
The name, they're keeping that under wraps. They've got a big deal on that.
With Hello.
Yeah.
What?
Hello magazine.
Hello.
Closer.
Hello. Goodbye magazine. Right, let's go on with the show. Welcome to the world's #1 podcast, Soccer A to Z, the people's podcast, saving football 1 week at a time whilst helping society. We are working our way through the alphabet from A to Z. Today's letter is W for Welliot. Strong team today. Helen is here.
yeah. Hello.
Joe is here.
Hello.
Robbie is here.
Hello.
Tubes is off because exclusive. He's only gone and had a baby girl.
Woo.
What is the enthusiasm?
I found out a week ago, so
Oh yeah, well, we all found out.
it's gone off a bit.
I was so happy
Hang
for
on.
him. Do you remember when you first had a baby, you two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's quite a big day for me.
It was really life changing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks are crazy,
You're
aren't they?
totally out of your comfort zone, out of your depth. What the bloody hell do we do here now with this?
Just a little child there that you got to look after.
I remember looking at the twins going, oh, now I kind of understand what I've got. I've got to support these. And suddenly there was this pressure on me that, I've got to keep my job now.
Yeah.
'Cause, you've got to make sure you're supporting the kids. But it was kind of like more of a meaning for life sort of thing for me. I don't know.
I found it more. I didn't find it that restrictive at first because you can still go places and that. The thing I found weird was when they start primary school, because then suddenly it's like, oh, we have to be for the next however many 15 years or whatever. We've got to be near to this building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For most of the year.
But you didn't. You upped sticks and moved to Norwich.
Yeah, but you still got to be near a different building.
Oh,
You can't just be free of buildings.
How are you anyway, Robbie? Are you well?
I'm recovered from my cold. I've got a theory on colds that it's 3 days of getting ill, 3 days of being ill, and 3 days of getting better, and I'm beyond those 9 days.
You don't sound it. You sound a bit... Ugh.
Yeah,
Seasons
but I feel
of
all
the
right, but I've
cold.
still got the residual nose stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know what Tubes' baby's called yet, by the way?
No.
No clues or anything?
Well,
I
we've
was
got
kind-
plenty of clues.
I was-
Helen, I'm hearing.
Helen. Well, I was...
Helen.
With it
His
being
middle
W,
name.
I was kind of hoping he was going to go for Wendy or Winifred or something.
Wilfred.
Winona,
great, wouldn't it?
Whitney.
That'd be great if he came in and said, guys, we couldn't think of a name, so we
We're
went
going
for...
with W.
We go for
Yeah.
W.
Winifred.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got two Bolton legends on the show today. We've got not only Joe Worsley, better known as Joel and Sheephead. We've also got Mr. Vernon Kay a little bit later on.
It was V last week.
It was V last week, but he's coming on to talk about...
We'll have to call him
be-
Vernon Kay.
I'll be for Wanderers.
German. Vernon Kay.
Vernon Kay.
Vernon Kay is
Vernon
joining
Kay.
us.
Yeah, he's got a 90s gig he's going to be doing. So he'll be talking about that, and maybe we'll talk
Love it.
about the what's your Tough Rubbish Stadium?
Rave Classics. Is he?
What's your
What's that?
stadium called? Tough Sheet. Tough Sheet. That's it. Shall I do a couple of before we get into farm news? Pete Sword has said, "What a great name that is, Pete Sword."
Brilliant, isn't it?
Going back to, I was talking about VHS last week, wasn't I? 101 Great Goals. Going back to the goals VHS, that's 101 Great Goals. This brought back memories for me and my older brother. We'd watched that video so much in the late 90s. I soon began to hate it. However, my brother loved it. So every time he wanted to watch what he wanted to watch on the telly, but I disagree, he would threaten to put on goals, knowing how much I hated it. I could never hate that video. I ended up watching a lot of it on YouTube the other day. And do you know it, Robbie?
Yeah.
Have you got any notes, by the way, from last week's show?
Just
Because you were off.
Just two. One was about VHS.
A bit of admin.
And one was that I liked as well that there were niche VHSs. I had an entire VHS about Bruce Grobbelaar when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah. It's all
Wobbly
about
knees.
just about his
Walking on his hands.
career, all that
Wobbly
stuff.
knees.
Yeah, all that stuff. And my only other note was that I do remember the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I don't think there was any windmilling.
No, but they did come out with
They
socks.
did come out with socks, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, there's definitely no windmilling.
Lennon says, I was obsessed with that 101 Great Goals video. Some absolute worldies on there. W for worldies. Might still have a copy somewhere. The phrase, I'll put goals, goals, goals on mind has stuck in my head till this day. I'm 34. My brother is 36. Paul Roster said, Mr. Lovejoy is now into country music. Did you hear that?
Yep.
So I went to Little Nashville.
You didn't buy the
for-
hat?
No, I didn't buy a hat. So I'm not really
Didn't
into
buy the hat.
country. Yeah, I'm not really into country music. However, I've been watching this. I think it's called. It might be called soul line dancing. I think it might be called, or soul stepping, and it's line dancing, but more to soul music. And they have fans, and they go chung chung chung, can make a noise with fans. Search that online because I want to do wherever they're doing that. I want to do it. It's like
Hang on,
it's not-
This is one of
fans
your things.
wafting your face fans.
Yes, so
Not fans as in, yay, we're all fans.
No,
of
no.
this.
They've got
Okay.
fans like the waving fans, and they put them in the air and they go chung chung chung, and they do a dance to sort of like more soul and funk music.
I
They
love
would-
watching Northern Soul dancing.
Yes, that's
Oh,
good.
me
But it's having a
too.
bit of a
Me
resurgence, I
too.
think.
Yes, it
You
definitely
see like
is.
loads of young people, like young people,
Yeah.
like dancing to it in clubs, like
that's-
properly going for it. It's brilliant.
But that's all improv. Do
Yeah.
as you want. Whereas this line dancing is actually, everyone's doing the same moves, and I quite like that idea of all lining up and not having to think about what you're going to do next with your feet and hands. You know what you're doing.
You love a fad,
Is it a
don't
bit
you?
Shania
You
Twain?
you love getting into something for a little bit of time. Do you
Says
remember
you, but how you still
when you
doing-
made us do kung fu? When you bought a skateboard?
I did. I got a kung fu guy in, didn't I?
You said everyone has to do kung fu for an hour every lunch, like, once a week or
But I
something.
paid for
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was good. It was quite good.
it. What about when you got into British military training for a week?
I did it for quite a while.
Yeah, what, 2 weeks?
No, I did it for.
What about when you
A
got into
year.
the bean diet or something? Didn't you do that?
I do that. Yeah, I did a bit of. I
Still
like
do that?
I like a health thing. No, not really. No, I do.
But you were just eating beans for like a month.
I was eating a lot of beans. Yeah, I worked out that I could lose like a stone in a month by eating
Just
beans.
eating beans. You had all the theory behind it. It was a proper diet.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Never eat food if it's part of if the diet's got a name, don't do it. It's a rubbish idea. Paul says, anyway, Mr. Lovejoy is now into country music. So Tim's a country member. Okay, Helen.
I do remember.
Good.
Love that
Did we
joke.
ever do that joke? We
No,
always,
we didn't do
we
it.
always threatened to do it.
didn't
We said,
do
"Oh,
it.
maybe this is the week we do the country member joke.
We didn't do that. I'll tell you what, one of the questions for Friday is, here we go. Josh says, what was the topless weather joke that nearly got you cancelled? I don't know that we can do that. We'll have to decide between now and Friday whether we'll let Joe say that joke, which is possibly the worst moment of my life as a producer when you did that live on TV.
Is it the one I'm thinking about?
We'll wait till Friday.
Right.
There you go. Helen, how's the farm? What's going on? The prison, the animal prison.
I'm still trying to work out the country member joke.
I'm a country member.
Oh, don't do it again. We'll get taken off air. Oh, no, we can't. We're a podcast.
There we go. It's dropped.
Okay. I
You
remember.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've had a couple of, I don't know if it's been the same where you guys are, but we've had a couple of days of beautiful spring sunshine.
Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this brings out the mating season amongst the animals. And my male rhea has started booming, which is his mating call. And it's an incredible sound. The first time that you hear it, you've never heard anything like it. And I've spent the last 2 days. The thing is he does it. He puts his feathers up as well on the top of his head, so he looks quite cool. But when I turn up with my phone to try and video it, to try and get this sound to play for you guys. He puts everything away and goes
all
looks
shy.
at me. Yeah, goes, well, no. So he doesn't do it in front of me. So
What does it sound like?
He's not into you.
it's, I mean, I can't.
He's going to do it.
It's-
Brilliant.
Here
Yeah,
we
go
go.
on,
This is
Helen.
Helen's impression of a Rhea's mating call.
Yeah.
This is going to be
Oh
Go
no,
on.
this is going to be
Can't
awful.
wait.
Please. It goes,
There'll be people at home with rears that are like properly. All right,
Yeah.
calm down.
Female Rhea's hearing this.
How
Like,
do-
"Ooh."
How do the female
It's-
rears reply?
nothing.
Do they care? Do they, when he starts doing that, they're like, "Uh-oh."
No, because it's the same as males the world over. He just traipses round after the girls,
Pestering her.
and just traipsing around.
Does it sound like?
Damn Magaluf.
I'm trying to imagine it because obviously it probably doesn't sound exactly like you're doing it. Is it like something out of Jurassic Park, like one of those dinosaurs?
Very much so.
Is it?
Very much so, because it's very.
Noise you don't know.
Even if you're looking at them, it's not like he opens his beak massively wide and sort of yells it into it. It comes from the chest area, so you,
Croons it.
I don't know what a
Yeah,
rear
you-
is.
It's like an ostrich.
All right, in my head I was thinking of something
Yeah.
like a alpaca or something. Then it had a beak, and in my head I've got this weird
Oh.
It's a
animal.
bird. It's
Okay.
a bird. with
sorry,
long
it's
neck.
it's a ratite. It's a member of the ratite family,
It
which is
attacked me once.
ostrich, emu, cassowary.
Is that the same one which
and
attacked me?
rheas.
Have you got different ones, or was that the one which attacked me a few
Well,
years ago?
I've got they come in two colours, white or grey, and even if you breed a white with a grey, the offspring will be white or grey. And so I just have some, and
How many have you got?
Well, I've got 4 adults and 2 youngsters from last season, so I've got 3 males, 3 females now.
How big are they?
They about 5 foot.
Huge.
How big's the dispatcher?
Bigger.
That really is. That really is an
Yeah.
axe job, tree cutting down job. Yeah.
There's a
How long do
So-
they live for, Helen?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. You'd probably like 12 to 15 years or something, but difficult to say because, like I say, when they're in the field, they're just the rears. It's very difficult to tell the males from the females as well until they're very mature, and the males have a darker throat area.
Nice.
There was a letter in Viz recently.
Oh, are you still reading Viz?
Oh yeah, you subscribe.
Wow, that's
yeah.
a-
Yeah. There was a letter in it saying, "Does anyone know if Rod Hull ever used emu to get hot things out of the oven?"
That's good. Joe, have you got any news for us?
No, I was out, like Helen. I was out in the garden enjoying the sunny weather. I was out in the garden at the weekend. Went a bit Monty Don,
Oh, you did
ground
what'd you
control
do?
to
You
Monty
green
Don.
figured. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Planting
just tidying up, really, pruning roses, that kind of thing, putting it all in the green bin.
Have you got a big garden? Because I live in London. I've just got like a postage stamp.
Well, I live out in the country, so it's bigger than a London garden. Yeah, I love a garden.
Do you?
Yeah,
love
it's
a
my
garden.
happy
Do
place.
you, Robbie?
Yeah, I do like gardening.
Do you?
Got
Oh,
my
yeah, you
potatoes chitting at the minute.
Robbie
I
does,
was just about
Robbie-
to ask Robbie, have you got your spuds chitting? I've got mine
yeah.
on the windowsill. Chitting on
mine.
the windowsill, yeah.
Chitting nicely.
What does chitting mean?
It's when, if you leave a potato and the bits grow out of it,
Yeah.
it's like that, but intentional.
Okay.
Because then when you plant them, they grow better.
Oh, nice. You do influencer videos about your garden sometimes.
I used to. I've had to be a bit more professional now. You can't just do videos about potatoes because people don't watch them.
Bit niche.
All right.
Well, some people watch
Have you got
them.
any
but-
news for us, Robbie? That you apart from the
I've been
fact you've
ill most of the weeks. I've not done loads.
Right.
I've got a YouTube video out with where Lloyd Griffith and I.
Oh, you went to Paris and got battered with him. Is that
Yeah,
the video?
that's the video pretty much. Yeah, we went to this bar. It's called Harry's New York Bar.
Oh, I've been there. I love it.
It's
I go
amazing.
there every time I go to Paris.
They invented
My
like every
favourite
drink.
place.
What, once?
No, I've been loads.
Went to Paris.
It's great, isn't it?
No,
Yeah, they invented like the Bloody Mary sidecar.
It's amazing. They built it in the 20s, didn't they?
Yeah.
For like,
Come on,
it
what's
was-
the video about? Give us the top line. What is it?
Title is something along the lines of I went to, also that is this the world's most influential bar or something like that.
Okay, nice. I'm already in. I want to watch.
I love it.
I
Go
want to
there.
watch
It's the
it.
best bar in the world.
Don't care about that. I want to watch his video.
Yeah.
This is-
We also bought a massive croissant. I bought Lloyd breakfast, didn't tell him what I was getting. And there's a place that does these, you see them a lot on TikToks, they've gone virus.
They do them over here, mate.
Well, yeah, €32 for a croissant.
They do them multicoloured in, I think, King's Road or somewhere.
Well, this is normal coloured.
Yeah.
€32.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
it
it did
was
us for a
huge.
day.
It's
We'd
huge.
just be gnawing on this croissant between us for the day.
Yeah.
Did you have one of the hot dogs in Harry's?
No.
About €5 or something. That's
still had
all
the
you do is a
croissant.
hot dog. It's brilliant.
There's a restaurant near me, and I said, it's never worked, this restaurant. And I said to them, why is it so busy now? He goes, I've done 2 things on the menu that are Instagrammable, and people come from all over London because they've seen people do it in Instagram.
That's all you got to do now.
But I, in fairness,
my
ordered it. It was a
God.
hot dog and
Wow.
gravy, and it was just it was all right. If I'm honest with you, it was 6 out of 10, if that. You know?
If you have something that's good for Instagram now, you're sorted.
But it's just
aren't
the
you?
picture, innit?
Yeah.
So,
It's the rise of cocktails, isn't it? Everyone's obsessed with cocktails now because you can take photos of them and stick
but
them
when
on
I was in the
Instagram.
restaurant, I looked around after he said that, and everyone was taking pictures of their food. I thought it was kind of interesting. Phil Sutherland says, clearly nobody knows anything about football. He sent the BBC Premier League predictions for 24-25. Ellen White says Arsenal. Stephen Warnock says City. Rachel Brown-Finnis says City. Farrah Williams says Arsenal. Steve Sidwell says City. Danny Gabidon says Arsenal. Leon Osman says Arsenal. Matthew Upson says Arsenal. Waddle, Chris says Arsenal. Ashley Williams says Man City. Not one of them have put Liverpool, proving that nobody knows anything about football. Thanks for that, Phil. If anyone else can find more evidence that nobody knows anything about football, please send it this way. It's proven, though, by Leicester City winning the league a few years ago. Stuart says, Nicholas Anelka has got to be one of the best bits of signing in terms of profitability. Signed for £500,000 in 1997, won the double and sold him to Real Madrid for $22.3 million. Arsenal then used half of that to buy Thierry Henry. Wow, that was because Tubes did value for money or something, didn't he? Was it V last week? It was, wasn't it?
Rebuilt his career at the Reebok, didn't he?
Who?
Anelka.
Oh, yeah. Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Ben, talking of Tubes.
Oh, yeah. Did he?
My memory, I can't remember anything.
Then we flogged him to you, if I remember rightly.
Talking of Tubes, value for money. Gareth McCauley from West Brom for free. Made over 200 appearances and kept us in the Premier League for 7 years. Absolute bargain. We have questions coming in for Friday's show. Smith says, would you merge the top flights from Scotland, England and Wales? Wales are already merged, mate, but we'll talk about that on Friday. Josh says, what's the topless weather joke? That nearly got you cancelled. We'll decide whether we do that on Friday. Dan says, club or country? What would you rather? Your club's won a trophy promotion or England win a tournament? We'll discuss that on Friday. And if we get time, Ricardo says, should we bring back classical music intros to World Cups? That'll all be discussed on Friday. Helen, what are our W's from our listeners?
W's are Henry Williams says, where are you? Let's be having you.
Let's be having you. Brilliant. Now, I love her for that.
Yeah. Nicky Clifford says Wenger, Wheat Sheaf, and Wonder
Wee
Goal.
sheaf.
Yeah, he put in a hat trick.
And Wonder Goal, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Gary Nash says Jack Walker.
Ah,
Absolutely.
brilliant.
The
but
last
didn't
time
he
we
start,
will
he started by
ever-
buying the league, didn't he? He started the trend.
But the last time we will ever see local money buy the league. Because you have to buy the league. You have to. You have to have the best players, and the best players cost money. And that's, I think that's the last time we will ever see local money.
Local
Probably
steel
see in
magnet.
Saudi Arabia. They'll have local money by the league.
Yeah, the difference is,
league.
the difference is though, Jack Walker, because now Chelsea, we're a trophy club, right? We're somebody's toy. That's what we always are. We're a Roman's toy, and that is what you become if you're City, Chelsea, whoever. We're just a trophy club. We're somebody's toy. Whereas Jack Walker, even though Blackburn was his toy, but it was for but he was one of them, wasn't he?
Yes.
So there's a real
Exactly.
difference,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah.
Completely.
And what's his name? Steve. What's his name at Middlesbrough?
Oh,
What's his name? Google it, Robbie.
escapes me.
What am I Googling? Steve Middlesbrough.
Steve Owner. What was his name?
Gibson.
Steve Gibson,
Yeah,
that's
Steve
right.
Gibson.
Yeah, Steve Gibson did the same at Middlesbrough, didn't he?
Yeah. Helen, any others? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yes.
Good one.
Dave H says, W is for Wigan Athletic, the only team to win the FA Cup and get relegated in the same season, and also haven't lost to Bolton for 10 years. Sorry,
all right.
Joe.
Yay,
Up the
take
ticks.
that. Take that. Take that,
Dave
Mr.
H,
Sheephead.
coming for you. Mark says, Walter, I got a double W.
Oh, yeah.
Mark says, Walter Winterbottom, not only England's first manager, but youngest and longest serving as well. He was 33 and he did 16 years. About that. Rachel says Winston Bogard, sat in the resis at Chelsea, picking up his money that he was entitled to, by the way.
He was. Didn't he fly backwards and forwards from Holland every day in a helicopter or
Something like that.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
But he did
Imagine the
quite
carbon
rightly say,
footprint.
yeah, when I signed the contract, that money is mine, so I'm having it. Because he didn't get selected, and he refused to move. He stayed there, just picking up his money.
They made him train with the kids. Yeah.
But both sides said, no, you're absolutely right. You signed this contract; it's money you're entitled to. And he said, I'm just going to stay here until I've earned it.
I think
And
Vialli was
regardless-
manager and he didn't fancy him, but he didn't sign him either. And I think they just stuck him in the resis. I think they stuck him with the kids, but they made him come to training every day, even though they had no interest. And he just relocated to Holland and flew in a helicopter. But I might be making all that up. I know nothing. I really do. I'm just a stupid TV presenter.
And finally, Nathan Gray says, that hand sign that I can't say that everybody does, usually followed by
the corner flag. That really annoys me. That does. It's like the sport is so brand new, isn't it? With all the great stadiums and all the wonderful players and the great kits, and everything feels amazing. And then as soon as you cut to a corner, there's
You'll
Someone
never
giving it the
take that away.
international wave.
some loaf doing that, a player, like, and the bloke who's doing it is like, he's probably can't even kick a ball, and he's doing it to one of the great players,
Yeah.
Because it's all he's got, Tim. It's all he's got.
Yeah, I get that, but it's just kind of uncouth. I don't know. I'm not. Do you like it? Are you a supporter of that?
No.
I don't.
My mate Shreddy got chucked out of Highbury for doing that when he was 15.
Did he?
Yeah.
Why is he called Shreddy?
Oh, long story. Move on.
I must admit, I've probably done it before at football stadiums when I was a youth. Greg says W for would you like a coffee? Lynch says W for white boots. Alan Ball, first one to wear them.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. And Steve Jonesy says there's only one
Chop.
chop. Thank you, Helen. There's only one chop. Paolo, one chop. One chop. Who's going first? Who won last week?
I won. I won with
Okay.
Kenny
Helen won.
Vasey. Yeah.
The umpire won.
My W is wave. Lovejoy, give us a wave. Lovejoy, give us a wave. Boo.
Do you remember that one?
Not. No.
What's that one?
So for people who don't know, sorry, Shannon, do you want to carry on? I'll do it in a minute, or do you want me to carry on with this now? Tell you about this now. Well,
I'm
I'll
gonna
carry
let
on
you-
as I'm
you
here.
carry on.
The wave. So when the live cameras started doing live matches, because there was no such thing as live football when we were kids, but then they started putting matches on live, so you didn't have to just watch Match of the Day. As they would go round to the grounds, because people realised they were live on TV and not part of an edit, all the crowds started doing this wave where they would cross their arms at the top and wave like that, like you were waving a sort of plane-in type thing,
Yeah.
And they would do that, and I remembered it vividly because I went to the first ever non-top flight live football match, which was Manchester City versus Chelsea. And I remember, what's their home end called? The Kippax or something? Is that what it's called?
What, Main Road?
Main Road, and it's because it's an unusual ground because the home end was along the side, not at the end. And I just remember because it was one of the first matches on TV, the whole of the Kippax all doing that, waving at the camera like that, and it was quite an impressive look. But people used to do that. People will remember that. Old people will remember people used to wave at the cameras like that. So anyway, when they had live football matches. Wave. Sorry, Helen, carry on.
So Lovejoy, give us a wave. The art of grown men asking another grown man to wave to them. Hi.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
To wave,
Yeah.
to wave to them,
Brilliant.
or you get booed.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Or you
I
get
think Helen's won.
Oh, you think I've won just off of
Retains
that
the
line?
crown.
It's
Because it is so
defended the title.
It's so stupid.
Quite nice, isn't it? Give us a wave.
Oh,
All right.
When they asked the manager, and the manager stood there, and he has to do a little wave.
This is the next bit,
Brilliant.
is the ridiculousness of it, but also that little bit of joy that you feel when your manager / substitute / physio acknowledges the chant and kind of just wafts his hand in your general direction, because it's never an actual wave, is it? Because how stupid would that be? Fergie, give us a wave. And he turns around and he does that meme wave of Forrest Gump, you know, like you're not going to get that, are you?
It's an acknowledgement, isn't it?
It's an acknowledgement. You're right, Joe, because it's comply or die. You don't get very long until you get booed.
They turn
for
on
not
you.
waving.
Yeah.
It's sort of breaking the fourth wall, isn't it? Because what's happening is
that's it. Yes,
the fans are shouting things, and the players are pretending they can't hear them.
Yeah.
Because like no matter what they're saying, they don't react, and then they gives a wave. They go,
You're
give you a wave. Go, you can hear us.
I think this might be the best one we've ever done, because it's really amusing me. Because also when the home fans or even the away fans ask the Oppo players to give them a wave as well, because they get, like, I was with Helen once and there was a guy called Woody and they shouted stuff at Woody, but you know, the goalie, I can't remember what that was. Brentford,
Woodman.
wasn't it? Was it Brentford or something?
Yeah, that was at Brentford, yeah.
But when you ask the Oppo goalie or something to turn around and give him a wave, and the Oppo goalie turns around and waves, also brilliant as well. Yeah.
Can I just say that the other wave that became sort of synonymous with football is the Mexican wave.
Yeah. When did it get such a bad rep?
I love the Mexican
Everyone
wave.
loved when it first happened in '86.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it, and now everyone's like, "Oh, it's the worst thing ever."
you don't
It
watch
means the game's crap.
Yeah, that's good then, isn't it? It's stepping in to save the game with a wave.
Fair point.
It's an entertainment business.
Look at this discussion. See, I was going to go around the room and say, all right, so who hates the Mexican wave? Tim, I've heard you say before, like, oh, Mexican wave. I mean, all right, it may be
I
because
don't mind it.
I like
Mexican
it.
wave.
Kids love
Okay.
a Mexican wave.
Yeah, I don't mind it. A Mexican
I thought
wave.
you were all going to say you hated it.
No.
And I was about to go, well, you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. I just think that all you hear is people complaining about stuff, and we're so bloody miserable in this country when it comes to kind of communal football cultural embrace. We hate Mexican waves. We hated the Vuvuzelas. We hate the England band. And then we sit back and we watch the Brazilians and the Argentinians and the Italians, and they fill the streets with colour and ticker tape and music and dancing and drums and girls, and all we have is half-naked blokes with cans of lager with flags around their necks in Trafalgar Square. We're rubbish. We're uncultured. We have throwing beer, don't we? And the odd plastic chair. And
in the fan parks.
yeah, and so we have that, and fully grown-ass men asking us to give them a wave.
You reckon in Mexico,
therefore-
if you're all sat around like in a pub or something, and someone goes, right, see you later, then you go, okay, bye, and you'll take turns to get up.
I think you've all changed my mind.
On Mexican waves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't mind
know.
a Mexican wave. It's a bit of fun. Isn't it?
I like them.
I must admit the constant of England matches can sometimes drive me mad. I mean, if we had more songs, it's not that. It's not quite the samba, that is it? Do you know what I mean?
It's not, but the
quite
thing is,
samba.
they used to come on Soccer AM all the time. They're the Shepherd Wednesday band. And John Hemmingham, who was the trumpet player, he's one of the funniest blokes you've ever met in your life. And they came to a couple of Torquay matches with me just for why not? And honestly, it was so funny. We had such a laugh. So when they got named the official England band, and everybody went, oh my God, I can't believe we have an England band. I was a bit, they're really, really, A, passionate football fans, B, really nice blokes, and C, why not? We have nothing. We had nothing. Say just blokes with their shirts off with flags. That's it. That's all we're known for. Throwing plastic chairs outside of cafes. let's have something nice to celebrate.
What were they? What did they think about playing to nobody? Because they usually play to crowds at England and Sheffield Wednesday. What was it like? Because you often hear about.
Don't. You mean at
Practice
Torquay?
session for them.
We went to Mansfield away on a Tuesday night, and they moved us because I think we were underneath the box where the tannoy is, and they moved us, and they said it was a health and safety concern because they couldn't hear anything in the security box. So they moved us to behind the goal, and we were the only ones there because there weren't many at Mansfield away on a Tuesday night. So there was just like 6 of us in this band by the goal. We went marching up and down.
I don't know if you can you but the temperature's dropped in here.
Dear.
Can you feel that? I can really feel it.
I did feel it dip a little bit. Yeah, a bit frosty.
In here. Can you feel the temperature?
He's running down the left, he's running down the right, he's running down the left, he's running down the right. Cole Palmer is dynamite. It's
freezing.
Cold Palmer.
It's so cold. By the way, thank you.
Baltic.
Thank you for everyone who's we got so many messages from people going. Honestly, loads coming in saying, have you noticed ever since Tim started doing Cole Palmer, he's not scored?
Yeah. I was wondering how long this is going to... You stopped mentioning him as much, UMP, haven't you?
It's my fault, apparently. I've got this amazing, ability to...
Jinxed him.
Put a hoodoo on him.
But in lots of football, because I remember I used to say stuff on Soccer M and people go, I can't believe Tim just said that. It's like, I have these magical powers that I'm not aware of, but viewers and listeners are, which is wonderful. Cole Palmer is here. He is so cold. He's turned into Cold Palmer once more. He grabs for a scarf, but whose scarf is it? It has a shield on the back.
What colour is it?
I don't think he's going to give it away, so I reckon it's orange. So I reckon, okay.
Shield. Charlton.
It's got a crown in the shield. I can't actually visualize it now. Oh, I've got it. It's got a crown in the shield. It's got some ostrich feathers coming out of the crown.
Oh.
Blackpool.
It's red, Joe. It has.
Sorry.
It's not an easy peeler colour.
It's not an easy.
It has a football in the middle of the shield.
Oh, I know this.
The shield is green, red, and white. There are 2 dragons holding a ball. It is Wrexham, yes. The Red Dragons is the nickname. Joe's so good at these things.
He's so good.
It's when you said green and red and white.
Who are Wrexham's biggest rivals? And this is weird, because
Chester.
It is Chester. Well done, Robbie Knox.
Robbie.
Former Chester City player Lee Dixon said of the derby, I'm telling you, Chester versus Wrexham was a real derby. It's difficult to compare if you've not played in each one, but there's something special about any derby at any level. I played for Chester v Wrexham, and that could get ferocious. It's lost nothing in the ferocity compared to Arsenal v Spurs. Former Wales and Liverpool striker Ian Rush, who played for both clubs in 2013, said in 2013 that the cross-border derby between the 2 clubs is as intense as they come. It's like Wales v England. Really, it is incredible. I had no knowledge of that. Did you?
Isn't there some weird facts about Chester that one end of the ground's in Wales and one end's in England or something?
Guys, we've got a special celebrity phone in now. Not only do we have one Bolton legend actually sitting amongst us in the form of Jojo Sheephead, I can now introduce another. It is, of course, Vernon Kay. Hey, Vernon, how are you?
I'm all right, gang. Yeah, really good. Hey, congrats on this pod.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today. Are you at Radio 2 at the moment? Because it looks like a green room or something.
Yeah, I am. Hence the orange sofa and the greenish kind of curtain. Yeah.
That could have backfired, Tim. Vernon could have been at home.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Though I did go to Vernon's house once, and it is a beautiful house. It's a wonderful house. Vernon, how is the Radio 2 gig going? Brilliant, right?
Oh, I'm loving it, Tim. Honest, seriously, I'm having the best time since getting away with it on T4. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's it. Well, before we get into talking a bit about football and stuff, you've got this gig called Sound of the 90s, which is right up our street because we are obviously doing Soccer M. 96 was when we started Soccer M. What year did you come in it? You must have been around that time, wasn't it? Late 90s?
Wow. Yeah, it was. No, I think
Would have been
it
later.
was early noughties. Yeah, it was early noughties when T4 was up and running. That's when I first went on the show, and I think everyone wanted to be on it because it was just anarchic. You know, there was football chat, obviously, and if you loved a bit of a deep dive into football, then it was great. But I think it was the music, it was the fact that it just felt like perfect Saturday morning viewing, because you went from watching Saturday morning telly as a kid, and then as you go through your kind of teenage years, adolescent years, it was always Soccer AM.
Yeah, well, it was good fun. I remember meeting you in Test once, and you at some sort of festival or something, and you said, "Oh, Tim, you got such a good job," and I was really jealous because your fame was going through the stratosphere, and you were going, "Your job's brilliant. You just turn up and have a laugh with your mates and talk about football." And it was kind of true.
Yeah.
We did have a laugh. Tell us about Sound of the 90s then. What's happening there?
Well, Down Sounds of the 90s, it's a show that I do for BBC Radio 2, but I thought the reaction we were getting from the podcast was such that let's take it out on tour. Let's go and do the kind of, not necessarily nightclubs, but like small music venues, because I think it's important that anyone who likes music goes and shows support to music venues, because they're on the decline, you know, they're just disappearing. So we literally do 4 hours of back-to-back dance sounds of the 90s. It starts out nice and mellow, and then towards the end of the night, it's absolute carnage.
Do you play Gala Free From Desire, or do you boycott it because you hear it about 1,000 times a day regardless?
Yeah, you bang on there, Joe. It's not. I've got it, obviously, but it's not going to be played that often because of that reason. It's everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Free From Desire, bloody blah.
Taking over the world, isn't it?
Do you take requests when people? Have you done one yet? Are you?
Yeah, we've done a few. And I think the reason why the show is so long, Helen, is because we play what we assume people want to hear. So it's if you were a vinyl collector in the 90s and you're obsessed by dance music, then there's underground tunes for you. If you went to your local Ritzy on a Thursday night and drank watered down Fosters, then there's tunes for you. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a good mix of everything: a bit of garage, a bit of house, a bit of trance. It's a broad spectrum.
I always like those tunes that you don't hear on the radio now, even when you're listening to the 90s stations. Right, so I would come and ask you for Blue Pearl, Take Me Dancing Naked in the Rain.
It's in there.
Is it? Is it? See, I'd be so happy with that. I'd be so happy because you just don't
I'll
hear
tell you
it
why
anymore.
it's in there, Helen. It's in there because it mixes perfectly either in or out of Black Box Ride on Time.
Right.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
I'm
real
happy
honest.
with that.
What we've realised is, and it's quite appropriate, as seeing as we're going back to Soccer AM and stuff, I think people our age, our generation, what I've noticed is when they come to Dance Sounds of the 90s, there's only about 3 or 4 people with their phone up, because we're from a generation where you enjoyed it, and hopefully the memory, the terrorites between your ears would serve you well.
Yeah.
So the energy in the room is honest, it's off the charts, because people are like, they're concentrated on the music, their mates, having a good time. They've had a few drinks, and we just keep it going. Someone said to me, I'm absolutely knackered. I've done a week's worth of steps. I'm like, well, that's not a bad thing.
I would be. I'd be on the dance floor the entire 4 hours.
It's really
I want to come. I want to come.
Vernon, I remember you were part of probably the biggest post-show drinking session we ever had at Soccer AM. We'd always go to the rugby club across the road, and you weren't even on the show. You'd been on a couple of weeks beforehand. I think we had Star Sailor and James Redman on, and you said you were going to come down because it was Chelsea Bolton, just the pub, to watch the game with us. And we ended up all day out and eventually back at your house in London. And then I remember waking up the next day, terribly hungover, put the radio on, and you were there. The first thing I heard you say was, oh my God, I was so hungover. He said, if anyone was round my house last night and they stole the cue ball from my pool table, can I have it back? And I had to go and check my pocket to make sure it wasn't me. I thought,
Bit like fingered, are you, Robbie?
Well, it wasn't me, no.
No, who did it, Vernon? Do you know? Did you ever get it back?
I think it was that Boltonian lad that was on the show.
Me?
Yeah, was it not you, Joseph?
No, it wasn't me.
I know who it was. I found out.
Who?
It was one of John Dyson's mates.
Who's John Dyson from the show?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's always someone's mate.
I'll try and get it back for you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Pointing the finger at me, though, wasn't he?
I'll tell you what the problem was, right, is when someone stole the white ball, we were playing European pool. And the only white ball I had was an American white ball. So for the rest of the history of that pool table, the white ball was one of them big, fat American white balls.
Everything's got to be bigger in America.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Pretty cool back in the 90s, though, to have a pool table in your house.
Yeah.
Now, Vernon, as we got you on, we are pretending to be a football podcast. What do you think of Bolton at the moment? How are they getting on?
Well, if we can stay where we are on the cusp of promotion spots, playoff spots, then I think we'll be all right. And you've got to be really proud of what Sharon Britton and the team have done there at the Wanderers. The club was on its knees after riding that massive wave of success in the Premier League. We went down again. It was a nightmare. So now that we've got financial stability, and fair play to everyone at the Wanderers, what they've done is they've built the club from the ground up. So it's been fans first instead of what goes on the field. So they've made sure that relationship with the fans in the town has been solidified, and one where them upstairs in the suits talk to those fans that go through the turnstiles and go and support the club on a Saturday. And I think with Bolton's, what do you call it? The area where fans are going to come from. We're surrounded by the catchment area. Thank you, Helen. We're surrounded by massive clubs. You know, Manchester's down the road, Liverpool's down the road. Unfortunately, Burnley are doing all right. So it's kind of it's tough. And my brother was a primary school teacher in Bolton, and he would say that the Wanderers would come into class with Lofty the Lion, our mascot, and they try and encourage kids to get a family ticket. Go, here's a flyer. Go and tell your parents you could come and watch the Wanderers for a £5, all four of you. They're all sat there in Chelsea and Man United shirts. So it's tough. It's tough, but they've done a great job there. And hopefully, if we can get promotion, great. If they can keep the fans on the side, I personally think that's more important.
Vernon, thank you so much for joining us today. Dance sounds of the 90s. You'll be at Bournemouth, Norwich, Newcastle, Scarborough, Sea Dogs, and Nottingham. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the shows.
Hey, cheers, gang. Thank you very much.
Vernon.
All the best.
Cheers, Vernon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
My W. By the way, Helen, waves. Just going back to your waves. Do you know the thing that gets up my hooter about waves is when when they're going around the crowd and people see themselves on the big screen and they've got that split second to react and they wave at the screen and they don't wave at the camera that's pointed at them. They wave at the screen.
But to be fair, Joe, obviously they don't know because the camera's only this big, isn't it? And they've zoomed in.
They've got a split second to react.
Exactly the same. When they're waving at exactly the same. I hear you. I should have added that to my notes. You're going to win. You're going to win this week, Joe, just from adding to my W.
Do I still need to do this then if I've already won it?
Go on.
Right, my W this week is for warthogs on the pitch.
Oh yes, warthogs on the
Game's
pitch.
Do you remember? Yeah, do you remember when the game would get called off because of warthogs on the pitch?
Yes.
Well, I've gone for some strange reasons for calling off football matches.
Oh, that's good. Not going to beat waves, but go on.
Well, I've already won it, haven't I?
Oh yeah.
So I put the crown on now.
Well, you can't win it for just adding to somebody else.
I found out last week when I was listening to the show that he just makes it all up anyway.
He does, yeah.
Need an investigation here.
Jokes, yeah. We don't know whether this is real or not.
I make some of it up. Artistic license. Man United, none of this is made up. Man United v Bournemouth was called off shortly before kick-off in 2016 due to a bomb scare. Ooh. A dangerous package had been dropped off in the toilets. We used to get a few of those, didn't we, after the fans of the week had been 2018, PAOK were playing AEK Athens in Greece. PAOK had a late goal ruled out, so their owner, Ivan Savidis, stormed onto the pitch waving a gun to confront the ref. Understandably, the ref said, "I'm out of here, the game's abandoned." The whole Greek league got suspended for 3 weeks. 1997, Illness swept through the Borough camp. They claimed they didn't have 16 fit players needed required to take on Blackburn. The authorities disagreed, fined him 50 bags, gave him a 3-point penalty, and Borough got relegated at the end of the season by 2
points. Yeah,
Do you remember
most
that?
ridiculous thing to do. Yeah.
Here's one for you, Robbie. 1996. Estonia v Scotland got called off after the Scots started moaning about the floodlights in Tallinn for some reason. The kick-off got brought forward to daylight hours. The Estonians weren't having it. They refused to take to the field. Scotland kicked off and the game was called off after 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
And lastly, but not leastly, Helen, here's one for you. Torquay against Portsmouth, do you remember this? In the 99 League Cup got called off because...
Fog.
No, there was a solar eclipse going on at the same time. So loads of eclipse heads flocked down to Devon. The local police said, whoa, we can't handle all this. Something's got to give. So what gave was the football match. It got binned off.
I was down there
for
for
a
the
solar
eclipse as well.
1999.
I was on
Mother
an
Nature
aeroplane for
1,
that.
understaffed constabulary 0.
Nil.
I saw that eclipse on an aeroplane above the clouds.
Did you?
I was going back from Canada, yeah. Good eclipse fact.
Wow. That must have been
Stats, anyone?
impressive.
Stat chat?
Yes, please.
Mike Dornan says, on yesterday's stat chat, someone said the longest league run was AC Milan with 58 games, when in fact it's actually Celtic. In Brendan Rodgers' first spell at the club, Celtic went on a 69-match unbeaten run, which included an invincible season with the team going on to win 4 trebles. 4 trebles in a row! They won 4 trebles! Wow. The first and only quadruple treble in world football. We also beat our own 100-year-old domestic record of 62 games unbeaten in the process. Now, is that a stat or a fact? You decide, says Mikey.
Is it a fact?
Michael Cook says the longest FA Cup shootout in history happened in 2014 between Scunthorpe United and Worcester City, which included 32 penalties, with Scunthorpe winning 14-13. Michael Cook also says in 1991, Scunthorpe United sold Neil Cox for a weird transfer fee of money and 2,000 spare Villa Park seats that are still in Scunthorpe United's away end to this day. Is that a stat or a fact? That's a fact, isn't
That's
it?
a fact.
But that is stat chat for you. Stat chat. Robbie, what's your W? What's your W?
W is for Wembley Stadium.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
come on.
Wembley.
I've got a few things to tell you about Wembley.
Yeah.
So there've been 2 Wembleys, as you may be aware. The original was built in 1923. Before 1923, what was on the site of Wembley Stadium?
Wembley Market.
Cows or sheep? Or
No.
Gasworks.
No,
Wembley Market.
no.
PC World.
Yes, no. It was Watkins Tower, which is an attempt to build a tower bigger than the Eiffel Tower as a rival to the Eiffel Tower. They built a bit of, and it wasn't very good. Wasn't going well. They just demolished it. So that's a bit sad, isn't it? So there's always been historic things there. Record crowd at the old Wembley Stadium?
120, 114, 108,000.
Bolton, wasn't it? Bolton West Ham, night of the White Horse final.
126,047. How much did it cost to build the original Wembley? You can have that in old money or the modern equivalent.
20,000 old money pounds.
I'm going to say 26,000 old money pounds.
750,000 old money pounds.
Oh, that's a lot.
Which is 49 million new money pounds.
And how much is the new one?
That's about right.
No.
Yeah. So the new stadium opened in 2007. And who was the first goalkeeper to win a trophy there?
Was it Robbie Knox?
It was me, yeah.
Hold on, how much did it cost to build the new one?
Hang on, I'll get to that once I've
He
Googled it.
doesn't know. That's terrible. That's rubbish. Boo.
New stadium, record attendance.
What is the attendance there now?
The capacity the capacity football was 90,000.
90.
The closest they've got to that was Cardiff Portsmouth in 2008, which is 89,874.
I don't know why that's the closest they've got to it when they can sell it out.
Because people don't turn up.
Who doesn't turn up for a match when they got?
Well,
the
I tell you
ticket?
what, not Cardiff and Portsmouth, because for them it's exciting.
Yeah.
If you're a big club, you go, oh, all right, not Wembley again.
Bothered. Yeah.
But
the
the
flicks.
biggest music crowd,
Harry Styles.
it was Adele in 2017, 98,000.
Who was she playing?
She was playing Taylor Swift at
away,
home.
yeah.
But what's the biggest ever crowd for any event there?
Boxing?
NFL?
Boxing. No, you were right first
Boxing.
time, Helen. You should have more faith. It was
Yeah, I
Joshua
should.
Dubois last year, 98,128.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's massive. That's
we-
huge. I wonder how much money they take.
I don't know.
How many toilets do they have there?
Loads.
Yeah.
Too many, really. We played there the first time it was
Plow
open.
on, Robbie.
Yeah,
Plow
we did.
on.
So that's
The ramp up.
the ramp up event. So if you open a stadium, for people who don't know, you can't just have the FA Cup final there. You have to have different events building up to it. And we were the first one, weren't we? We had a soccer AM team.
It was so brilliant and so bad for me that day because I'd played at the old Wembley
Yeah.
and I was younger and I was able to get up and down that pitch and I was only playing with celebrities then, but it was good and I felt good about my performance there. And who was I with? Oh, Phil Daniel. Stay at the back, Tim. You see more of the ball. I stayed at the back, saw lots of the ball. It was fantastic. By the time I played there, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, maybe 4. And then by the time the ramp up came, I played, and not only did Graham Lasso elbow me in the face, which really hurt. It really smarted, but also
Very pointy elbows, Graham.
yeah. But he was a great player, Graham. But also when I look back, it was just like I was like running in treacle. I was so and I
Big
couldn't.
pitch, innit?
It was the pitch was huge. The difference in a few years, and also I couldn't get to the ball. I just wasn't. That my 0 to 60, which I never had anyway. It just completely gone. I couldn't get to the ball quick enough, and I hated it.
My memories are, I remember we left, there were 3 teams in this tournament, weren't we? And because we were doing the show beforehand, the other teams were playing first. We didn't have that long to get there. I remember us being in a coach going there. I remember looking out the window and somewhere along the journey, some police escort had come and picked us up to take us in underneath the ground. Yeah. And then we got in there and I was a bit nervous because I was in goal and there were I think there were 20,000 people there. I was thinking there's quite a lot of opportunity for me to humiliate myself there. But we had John Aldridge in our team and it was like one of my heroes growing up. And he said to me, he said, Robbie, do you want me to warm you up? And I was like, yep, okay. I was like, I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to give me a massage or what? But he took me into some little room out the back, the little warm room, and just started pinging balls at me. And I was thinking, this is great, this.
I love Wembley. I do love Wembley.
I also remember being at some point, being in some goalmouth scramble, being so out of position that Mark Bright and the other team just burst out laughing at me and said, why are you stood there? I went, I don't know what I'm doing, Mark.
Yeah.
You ever played in goal before?
Well, yeah, in the Chiswick District Sunday League. Not Wembley, Joe.
Helen?
I have a little Wembley edition, if I may. Tim, do you remember sending me to Wembley Stadium before it was built properly? It was still very much under construction, with a bunch of Soccer AM memorabilia to put in the time capsule that they were burying under the centre circle.
Oh, no.
Right. So off I went with a couple of DVDs, I don't know, probably a Save Chip badge and some bits and bobs. And Jermaine Defoe was there as well. He must have been putting in, I don't know, an England shirt or something. They'd invited him along. We were sat in this room, just waiting for whatever. And small talk is so hard with footballers because, are you getting in the England? Are you playing in the World Cup there? They're just bored with all of that talk. So I just said to him, for some reason, have you got your speech ready for when you put your thing in the hole? And he's like, what are you talking about? What speech? There ain't no speech. I'm not doing any speech. I said, dude, this is a big deal. We're putting stuff in this time capsule for generations to come. It's all being filmed and it's you've not got your speech. You ain't got your speech ready. What's the matter with you? And he started, I don't know I'm going to go and find my management because they've not told me to do a speech. I'm not doing no speech. And then I damn laughed and gave it away. And, but funny enough, when we went to put the stuff in, he said it's a big honour to be doing this at the new Wembley
Brilliant.
Stadium
Okay.
for generations to come.
Yeah.
For blah, 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 blah. He said exactly what I said. What, you've not got a speech ready about what an honour it is and a privilege to be standing here on this day doing this? And he did exactly that. And afterwards, he looked at me and I looked at him and I laughed and he went, no, you're right. It was good to do that. So my joke turned into reality.
I love the old Wembley, and I think I prefer it to the new Wembley because of all the experiences I had there. But I remember going to in those days years ago when there was FA Cup replays. United were playing Brighton, and it went to replay. God, have I got that right? Must be Brighton. And my mate went, should we just go up there? And you could just go up and pay. We were like, what end should we go in? Yeah. This is insane, isn't it? You could just go there and pay for the replay during the week. Like that week, it was on the Tuesday or something. And we went up, and I think we went, I swear it was Brighton, and we paid money to go in and watch it. Look, we've got to move on, guys. So that was brilliant.
God, what a great topic of conversation that was.
So
Wembley's good. Yeah, Wembley's
can
good.
You say, so there are some Stockholm DVDs under the centre spot at Wembley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Waving's
as
good. Wembley's good. What was your W?
Yeah.
Warthogs on the pitch.
Warthogs. Sorry, Helen, what are you saying?
I was going to say, Joe, it's not just if you were to dig a spade down under the grass, it's there. It was when they were constructing it. So where the centre circle, it's a proper
industrial
kind of
equipment to get
titanium
like that.
pod.
So I've gone for W for wages. I've gone a bit cliche here. And I thought what I would do is talk about wages, which could get dull, but we'll see how it goes. So the team with the biggest annual wage bill is, of course,
Chelsea.
Manchester City with 215 million. Then you've got Arsenal with 172 million, United with 171 million, Chelsea with 160 million, Liverpool 128 million. Then it's Villa and Spurs. Down at the bottom, Ipswich only had 37,856,000 and Brentford 41 million. So the difference is phenomenal between Ipswich Town with 37 or 38 million and Manchester City with 250 million. Now you're going to say that's boring, and I would concur. That is absolutely boring, even though it's an amazing amount of money. So what I did is I thought I would dig out the average weekly wage in English football, since this is the players' average weekly wage in top flight between 61 and 2010. And do you know why I've done it between 61 and 2010?
1961.
Yes, and 2010. And the reason I've done that is because that's all I could find on the internet, and I couldn't be bothered to look around. Gotcha. But I'm going to start with 1961. They got £20 average weekly wage. Okay,
probably quite a lot though, wasn't it? In 1961.
Why don't we play a little thing where you pick a date between 61? But let's go up.
It's old money pounds.
Yeah.
Have you converted it to modern money?
Should we go to
pounds?
71? That's £77. Should we go up? That's how much they were earning a week. Should we go up to 81? That's £960. Let's go to 91. That's 91 was not that long ago.
And mate, hang on, 981, they're 900 quid a week.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
1991, 1,600 quid a week. Then we'll go up to 2001. It's 13,141 a week. And then 2010 is 33,868. Okay, now you're thinking, it's quite interesting, but surely that's not all he's going to do. And it's not.
He's got more in the locker, hasn't he?
Because it's time for a game show.
Oh.
It's time.
Right.
By popular demand.
Fingers on buzzers.
It's back.
Oh, higher
got
or
an envelope.
lower?
It's not higher or lower. It's the best.
Okay.
It is the best wages quiz show that the world has ever seen. What we're looking at here is we're looking at the 30 top paid players in the Premier League. I'm going to pick one out, and you have to tell me whether the next player,
Higher or lower?
Okay.
It's not higher and lower. It's whether they earn more or less.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start, and we're going to go around
More
the room.
or lesser.
So we'll start with Arsenal's William Saliba, who is on £190,000. That's where it starts, Robbie. Then you're going to go for Christopher Nkunku at Chelsea. Does he earn more or less?
Less.
He earns more, so you're out already.
Oh.
Robbie,
Bennett.
so good. And Nkunku, I can never say his name. Christopher Nkunku is on 195. Helen, you're going for Casemiro at Manchester United. Does he earn more or less? Is he United? Chelsea's
more-
Nkunku.
He earns more.
Yes, he does. £350,000.
Hell's teeth.
That is a week.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're going
insane.
for Joe. You've got Marcus Rashford at Manchester United.
Oh, he's not at that Manchester United, so it's invalid, isn't it?
He's still getting the same wages, though, isn't he? They'll just be making up. Villa will be making up his wages. United. So how much a week is he? More or less than Casemiro?
More.
It's less. You're out too. He's on £300,000. All this competition's worked out well today, hasn't it? Because we've got you two out early doors, which is good.
So I've won. So that's the end.
No, you have to win it by
naming
you know,
every one of the
your own
30
right, rather
players.
than-
She has sort of
But I
won it.
did.
Yeah.
She has
I
sort of won
did
it,
get
but I'm
one
going to
right.
carry on. I'm going to carry on to see
Okay.
see how far you go, because otherwise
All right,
it becomes a bit boring. Declan Rice, does he earn more or less than, who was it? Marcus Rashford.
More.
Declan Rice. More, he earns less. £240,000.
Oh, there we are. We're all out. It's the end.
How does he survive?
£240,000. It's amazing, isn't it, how much they earn?
I remember when John Barnes signed for Liverpool, there's a big thing on the back of the paper because he was earning £4,000 a week, and people were going, how mental that was.
It's amazing, isn't it? But Arsenal, you always thought Arsenal didn't play their players. They're right up there, aren't they, in the top 30? So Phil Foden, how much do you think he earns a week? I've changed the game now. This is just a guessing game.
£350,000 a week.
£225,000. Can you just imagine it? What's Holland earned? £500,000. But I don't know. This was before his contract deal, I think. So it might be even more than that. But can you imagine? Every 2 weeks you get £1 million. I know you pay your taxes on it, but can you imagine?
I know.
Can you get your head around that, Helen? Can you imagine how many rears you can buy with £1 million every other week? What would you do with that sort of money? It's absolutely incredible. Right, that's the end. I don't think I've won, even though it was a great game show. I'm sure we all agree. I think Helen has to decide who wins. Before we do that, should we quickly do what's wrong with football?
What's wrong with football this week? Ben Linton says, I'm absolutely disgusted that after listening to all 46 episodes of the podcast, that Friday's Q&Q had no mention of Cole Palmer. Twice a week, every week, I've tuned in to try and guess the minute that Cole Palmer gets his customary mention. Yet Friday, nothing.
Magic's worn off.
Absolutely
Yeah.
That is bad.
fuming.
I
And
apologise,
that's
Cole.
what's
I apologise to
with football.
Chelsea. I apologise to you all. I apologise to everyone in football.
Fair weather, Cole Palmer fans.
A lot of people don't like this kind of stuff. Richard Rowling says pundits constantly trying to sound intelligent by using fancy words and phrases like the transition and the press during their analysis. It's all woke nonsense.
I feel sorry for them though, Helen, because knowing them as we do, they've now got to up their game and they've got to embrace that language. And people are going, oh, they've got so much more sophisticated now, the pundits, and they've all got to try and buy into it. Otherwise, they're not perceived as being as...
Presumably this is the language that the coaches are using as well, because they'll be coming from that environment into this. So
Well, maybe it's been the influence of coaches coming into the game. That's why good, Robbie, good thinking. I like it.
Thank you.
Just lives in a world of influence, doesn't he?
He was thinking about who influences who.
Playing 4D chess here.
Yeah.
David Hannett says when teams defend corners with 11 players instead of leaving a speedy but titchy player on the halfway line.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I agree with that. It's
An outlet.
It's woke nonsense too. Yeah.
And Luke Acton says players going down with head injuries after a corner to stop the other team from breaking away because they know that the referee has to stop the game, and keepers going down during the game so the manager can do a team talk as well.
Yeah.
They do it at the same time every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's wrong with football.
Just before we decide who's won, woke nonsense. Paul says dogs no longer running onto football pitches and eventually being caught by players. Woke nonsense.
Yeah.
Is it a fox?
Is it a fox? Scott says match of the day, still thinking that anyone watching doesn't know the scores of the game. Woke nonsense. James says filming goals whilst at the game, Robbie Knox, or even someone taking a corner, Robbie Knox. Same at gigs. It's like you're doing it for everyone else, yet it's killing the atmosphere at the games. Explain yourself, Robbie Knox.
I'm not contributing anything to the atmosphere anyway because I'm just sitting there quietly watching.
And filming.
Yeah.
Call me on your phone.
I've only filmed one goal.
It was very good, though. That's the end of this show. Who's going to wear the crown, Helen?
It's a difficult one this week, but I think I have to give it to Robbie for Wembley because
No!
that is the.
Can I just say? I
Thank
cannot
you, Helen.
I cannot believe you've given that to Wembley when I think waving is possibly the best one we've ever had on the show. Because
Because of the line "grown men waving,"
Yes, it
asking
made-
another
that
grown
was
man to
excellent.
give them away.
It
That
makes
was just
me laugh.
one line, though.
Yes, but it's something in
Okay.
football that no one ever talks about, and it's funny, and
All
you
right.
spotted it. Everyone
Yeah.
talks about
But
Wembley.
football is unfair.
It is unfair.
Wembley was good. Waving was good. Warthogs on the pitch was good.
Wages was good. We played a great game. That's the end of this week's show. I just think, Helen, you should have given it to yourself. We'll be back on Friday with the Q&Q questions and quiz. We'll see you then.
Joe
All
gets
right.
biffy when I give it to myself, so that's why I gave it to Robbie.
No, well, you robbed yourself. See you on Friday.
It's unfair. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch last week's great episode. Click here. Where is it?